Hi, Angela Wolf here. Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite things to sew, a fleece jacket. When you're traveling, no matter what you're doing, usually we're layering of some sort. I go to a little bit of extreme because I go fishing. So this is one of my fishing jackets. And one thing that I love to do is to add hidden pockets in areas, either for my cell phone, my lip gloss, my eyeglass cleaner, whatever. So I want to show you how to alter a pattern and add a hidden zipper. To get started, I picked out a fleece. So I'm not going to make the jacket here. I'm going to show you something different. But there are so many different fabrics. This is just a less expensive fleece, very light stretch, kind of thin. What you want to do is wash and dry the fabric first and make sure it doesn't end up with a bunch of peeling on it, because your jacket's going to look worse. Here we have another fabric, a fun color. And then this fabric that I'm going to be using is a rather expensive fleece. Has nice soft on the inside. On the outside, it looks really nice, and it has a really good stretch. This is my favorite. And then you need a lining fabric for your pocket. That's what I have here. You can just see it's see-through, just like if you saw in like sportswear. This is what I'm going to use for the lining. All right, for the pattern. First of all, for the jacket behind me where I showed you that zipper, you have to imagine this is the front of the jacket, center front, and this is the side front. All I did on that jacket to add that zipper was to draw a small line like this. This would become two pieces. I would add a seam allowance, and that's where I put the zipper. That's how simple it is. What I'm going to use today, though, is I'm just using a t-shirt pattern, because that has a lot of stretch to it. And I thought, how fun if you're running or you're traveling to put your cell phone or something in your arm up here. Let's try that. So I could use a two-piece sleeve if I wanted to, but I'm going to use, this is just a regular sleeve. And this is what we're going to come up with. So here's my little zipper, and all I wanted to put in here is lip gloss and cleaner for my sunglasses. So you can see there's lining. The zipper does not open all the way. And let me show you the back side. Notice how the lining inside for the pocket goes from seam to seam, edge to edge. That's really important because with this fabric, when it's stretchy like this, if I were just to cut the lining like a normal pocket and just have it hang, all of a sudden you'll be walking and you're going to end up with wrinkles in your arm or in your jacket. So it's real important that this goes from edge to edge. Hopefully they both have the same stretch, which you notice that here. And one more thing you'll notice, this is stabilizer. We'll get more into that in a moment. So let's take the pattern, and I'll show you how to alter your pattern. Whatever pattern you're using, it doesn't matter. What I'm going to do is line up the ruler with the grain line and decide the height that you want your pocket. Do you want it up here? That's a very common place for your cell phone. Do you want it down here, maybe for your lip gloss? Just make sure it's somewhere where the zipper is that you can reach it, because usually we don't have someone with us that's going to unzip our pockets for us. So let's line up this ruler. I'm going to say I want this about this high. And I'll draw a line from edge to edge. That's close. My ruler is a little short. And this is going to be two pattern pieces. So this would be one. This will be two. These are the same. The grain line will be the same on both. I put these hashtags here to remind myself to add a seam allowance. I usually add 1-inch seam allowance because we need room for the zipper and for the seam. You can always trim it off later, but 1 inch gives you a lot of room. What about the pocket? This is just some extra paper I had. You can make your pocket as deep as you want to. You might remember back in one of the seasons where I did a dress, and my pocket was about that long because my cell phone could fit in there. So decide what you want in that pocket, and you decide the thickness. And all you do is fold the paper in half. This will be the bottom of your pocket. This will be the top half that's attached. I'm going to slide this underneath and line it up actually with this top side up here, because this is actually where your seam would be. It doesn't have to be exact, but you want it to be. There we go. So what I've done is I've lined the top edge of this pocket about 1 inch above this line, because remember we have 1 inch seam allowance. And all I'm going to do is just draw down each edge like this. And our pocket pattern is just about finished. I'll transfer the lines for the grain line. I'll transfer the grain line onto the pocket and back up this side. So here is our pocket pattern. That can work on any part of your jacket or top, pants, anything you want. Just make sure that each edge goes to the edge of your pattern. Okay? A few more things you're gonna need here. A hidden zipper. The hidden zipper, what length? Well, here's the ticket. You want the zipper to be way longer, meaning 2 inches or more, longer than the area that it's gonna go in. I'll explain that, you'll see that when I'm sewing, but just make sure it's longer. You could go with one that's a little bit shorter, it just isn't as fast and easy to sew in. So I'm gonna show you the easy way. So here's the top part of my pattern, which let's just compare this so you can follow along. Here's the top part. What I did was I put little slashes here. That's where my zipper is gonna go from here to here, the opening. And then I have the lower part, which is down here. Notice that the slashes here match, so I know when I'm sewing this together, my zipper will be the same length. So you have to picture on here, my slashes would have been from about there to there. There's my pocket. All right, here's my lining, which will go in place. And you can decide if you want your lining facing, I mean, nobody's gonna see inside your sleeve, so I would probably have it like this, so when I open and put something in, you're looking at the right side of the fabric. Your choice, you're the designer. And the last thing you need is fusible interfacing. And all this is gonna do is stabilize where we're going to put the zipper so it doesn't stretch out. And I've already fused that in place. This is just lightweight fusible interfacing. I'll put those notes on the website, so be sure to check if you have any questions. So let's get sewing. So here is the zipper. I'm gonna close it. This is with the tab side up, so this is the right side. I'm gonna flip that over to the wrong side. And again, I'm just gonna stitch the zipper on in between my little marks that I showed you I made. I wanna open the zipper back up. Slide it down just a little bit. I wanna make sure that zipper head gets out of the way. And I'm just gonna stitch in between those two slashes. Make sure you back stitch a little bit because you don't want that to rip out. Stitch to the last, this is the next hashtag. Well, snip, not hashtag. Okay, that's one side. So that will be closed. Now I'm going to close my zipper so you can follow. Again, we're flipping it to the right side. And here is the other piece of fabric. What I want to do is flip this and line it up on the edge of the zipper tape, but what I want to line up is this slash with this stitch. And I'm just going to put one pin in there and put one, make sure that these are lining up. That stitch here with that snip. All right, I'm going to open my zipper back up. If I can get past the pin, here we go. All right, and now we are going to stitch from slash to slash. Remove my pin out of the way. Again, do a few back stitches. And if I didn't mention it, I'm using a 3.0 stitch on this stretchy fabric. It just looks better. We don't need to do a zigzag stitch because we don't want this area to stretch. So, all right, our zipper is in place. This is always where you wonder, did I do it right? Because it's hard to get it zipped and it's all flipped around the wrong way. I think I got it right. Here we go. Okay, now we just need to close that seam and attach our lining. What I'm going to do is go down. That's where we finished our edge. Push the zipper out of the way, and you're finishing this just like you would an invisible zipper. So I'm starting my needle just about a ½ inch above where that last stitch was when we sewed the zipper, and back stitch once or twice, and then stitch to the end. You could use a standard presser foot after you get away from the zipper, but this is just as easy. I'm using a contrasting thread so you can really see. So see how that's passed there? So now when I open this, my zipper will open, but it won't leave a gap. All right, let's go to the other side, and one thing we need to remember is to open your zipper, because the zipper needs to open in that opening. If we were just to stitch it, we'd lose our whole zipper, which I'm sure you wouldn't be very thrilled about that. All right, again, we're gonna start just about a ½ inch up, push the zipper teeth out of the way, or the tabs, and stitch, back stitch, and then all the way to the end. Your zipper is finished. That is how simple it is to put that in here. So there's my zipper. That's how wide I made it. You could have made it as wide as you want. The next thing I'll do is just trim off this. I'm not gonna need that area, and I'm not gonna need this area. I know, why do you buy a longer zipper? Because it's easier to put in. It doesn't cost that much more. Let's see, the last thing we need to do is the lining, so I just wanna show you here. You're gonna pin the lining on the area. See how this is wrong sides together with the bottom piece? I'm just gonna pin it, because you're gonna sew it, but this is the simple part. You already got the hard part done. All right, so that would be stitched all the way across, just on the outside edge of the zipper. So see how that folds down like this? So then on the top, you would just fold this up to this seam here, and again, I would be stitching right where my pins are, and you could finish this edge off with the serger if you'd like. So the back of your, whoops, I missed the pin on that one. The back of your pocket looks like this. The front of it looks like this, and when you reach your hand in, you have that beautiful lining. That is how simple it is to add an invisible zipper to any seam.